Having worked as a teacher's aide, then as a social worker, my teaching philosophy has partly been shaped in my interactions with educators and students within the education system. My experiences in working with people from diverse and low socioeconomic backgrounds has taught me a lot about the kind of system that we live in. Education should be about social transformation, but as it currently stands, it is about social reproduction and serving the needs of the neoliberal order and of capital accumulation, and the very people that benefit from the system, the wealthy, the owners of big business, and the ruling establishment. Both Paulo Freire and bell hooks were very critical of the neoliberal system and its effects on education. Towards the end of his life, Freire was quite concerned with the brutality of neoliberal politics, entrenching inhumane social and economic structures, growing the divide between the haves and have-nots. Neoliberalism, as an ideological expression of modern capitalist expansion, Freire believed was extremely dehumanizing in its effects.
As bell hooks explains, those of us who stay, who continue to work to educate for the practice of freedom, see firsthand the ways that democratic education is being undermined as the interests of big business and corporate capitalism encourage students to see education solely as a means to achieve material success. Such thinking makes acquiring information more important than gaining knowledge or learning how to think critically. The principle of equality, which is at the core of democratic values, has very little meaning in a world in which a global oligarchy is taking over. NAPLAN testing and the My School program are good examples of the neoliberal structures being imposed onto schools, where parents and teachers are forced to worry more about student test performances than about the school learning and well-being environment. This kind of high-stakes testing is creating commodities out of kids, while at the same time it is dismissing kids with learning difficulties or kids in low socioeconomic areas. Performance-based pay teaching models is forcing teachers to compete with each other, where there needs to be collaboration and team building in creating a better learning environment. Classroom sizes are growing larger and larger, workloads are increasing more and more, with wages and conditions not all that great compared to other professions. And the situation gets worse and worse, day by day.
I realized in this situation, I need to develop a philosophy of activism devoted to human liberation, basing my teaching pedagogies on the foundations of love for my fellow human beings.
As Paulo Freire says, the radical, committed to human liberation, does not become the prisoner of a circle of certainty within which reality is also imprisoned. On the contrary, the more radical the person is, the more fully he or she enters into reality, so that knowing it better, he or she can better transform it. This individual is not afraid to confront, to listen, to see the world unveiled. This person is not afraid to meet the people or to enter into dialogue with them. This person does not consider himself or herself the proprietor of history of all people, or the liberator of the oppressed, but he or she does commit himself or herself within history to fight at their side. I will strive to stand side by side with my students no matter the differences in gender, sexual identity, culture, or socio-economic backgrounds, to recognize the social and cultural capitals they carry and learn from their communities in how to better understand the obstacles and inequalities they face, to form networks between students, their communities, teachers, the education unions, to organize campaigns in challenging and transforming the dehumanizing neoliberal order imposed onto our education system. The problem is deep and en masse. To be truly transformative, the solution requires a collective, radical fight back with love at its foundation. For both Freire and Hooks, love is a return to the roots of what it means to be human, a deep commitment to one's fellow human beings. Love is a weapon to fight for the possibility of building a better world. As Bell Hooks explains, it is the most militant, most radical intervention anyone can make, to not only speak of love, but to engage in the practice of love. For love, as the foundation of all social movements for self-determination, is the only way we create a world that domination and dominator thinking cannot destroy. Anytime we do the work of love, we are doing the work of ending domination.
I will endeavor to base my teaching pedagogies on such love, to empower my students to go forth, to transform themselves and their communities, to confront the very people that have an interest in maintaining the inequalities that hinder our development, to create a better world free of inequality and oppression.